Good morning again, once again, everyone. We will now proceed to the special parade of colors.
May we ask everyone to please stand up as we begin the parade of colors.
Let us remain standing for the invocation and the singing of the Philippine national anthem.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas. Mga kababayan,
let us put ourselves in the presence of the Lord. Lord, may your goodness and love be present amongst us today. Come bless our gathering with unity, hope, and vision. Lord, we pray for unity. Build in us all a deep respect for one another, so that your church may be one. Lord, we pray for hope. Come stir your hope within our hearts and renew our faith. Lord, we pray for vision. May your vision fill our lives as we seek to reveal your love. We ask all this in the glorious name of Jesus. Amen.
Please remain standing for the entrance of the colors.
Please be seated. All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Philippine Startup Week 2024.
Hi, good morning, everyone. A big round of applause for making it today for the weather that's been cooperating. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Welcome once again to the 6th Philippine Startup Week.
All right, so welcome everybody. I'm so happy. As you mentioned, the weather is perfect for now. So we're so happy that you made it today. So again, this is Philippine Startup Week 2024, already the 6th run of this amazing celebration. This is organized by the Department of Science and Technology, the Department of Trade and Industry, the Department of Information and Communications Technology, in collaboration with Scale NCR.
So it's such a great privilege for us to be here. We'd like to introduce ourselves. My name is Mirma Tika Ortiz. I'll be your host for today. And with me, I have Ms. Mian Alampay Arcega, who is also hosting the afternoon event.
Thank you very much, Mirma. You know, just like you, we are so thrilled to be here today to celebrate the largest, yes, this is the largest Philippine Startup Week since it began in 2019. And so much has been achieved, right?
Right. So I know that we have engaged so far 30,000 participants, 500 startups, and more, and have put up over 200 events to celebrate the very vibrant ecosystem in the Philippines.
That's right, Mirma. And just to add to the scale of this wonderful event, we are also live online. So may we invite everybody. I think our camera is over there at the back. So just say hello to, the people joining us online. We are reaching a lot of people nationwide, and I think perhaps
Worldwide.
abroad. Exactly.
Right. So everyone just turn your heads. We have our cameras right just beside the tech booth, and everyone wave to our online audience. Just wave to our online audience. Make sure that we also connect with our online audience, because today is such an exciting day for everybody. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for cooperating.
I know. There's really so much going on. There's even the exhibit at the other pavilion, which we also invite all of the guests here to visit within the day and in the next days for this week.
Amazing. So this year, we are not just focusing on the local, but we are going global. So did you know that this is also the year that we activate ISA, or the Innovative Startup Act of 2019? Well, here to tell us more about it and to deliver the opening remarks, we have, but before she comes up, we'll introduce her. Well, we have Undersecretary Dr. Leia Buendia of the DOST.
Undersecretary Leia Buendia is a key driver of innovation at the Department of Science and Technology, leading efforts to bolster the Philippine startup ecosystem with focus on harnessing science, technology, and innovation for economic growth. She champions programs that support technology-based startups, aiming to increase the Philippines' global competitiveness in the tech and science sector. So again, let's give a warm welcome to Yusek Buendia.
Pleasant morning to everyone. To my co-ISA, how do you call them? To my co-ISA fellows, the Department of Trade and Industry Undersecretary Rafaelita Aldaba, the Department of Information and Communication Technology Attorney Josel Batapa Sige, startup founders, startup enablers, investors, incubators, and supporters, and friends from the media. And of course, for the other members of the ISA Steering Committee, a pleasant good morning to everyone. As the current chair of the Innovative Startup Act Steering Committee, the Department of Science and Technology welcomes all our participants to this year's Philippine Startup Week. A round of applause for the Philippine Startup Week. Our theme for this year, Isa para sa Bayan, Igniting Filipino Innovation, perfectly captures our shared commitment to empowering Filipino ingenuity for national progress. I think I have the other slide. Our theme stands as a beacon of hope and opportunity, a platform where incubators, startups, and accelerators converge to ignite the flames of innovation across the nation. Within the heart of this ecosystem lies a spirit of collaboration and empowerment, where budding entrepreneurs find the support and resources they need to turn their ideas into reality. According to the 2024 Global Startup Ecosystem Report by Startup Genome, the Philippines startup ecosystem grew more than 10 times its size to more than 6.4 billion in 2024 from 584 million in 2021. Driven by a strong consumer market, the fintech, e-commerce, and gaming sectors have made significant contributions to this growth. The country now ranks among the top 25 ecosystems in Asia. It's top in 15 for bang for buck, the top 20 for funding, and the top 30 among Asian emerging ecosystems in performance. The report also points to several strengths that make the Philippines an attractive destination for startups, including Asia's youngest and educated talent pool, robust government support, and dedicated startup programs. And so within over 1,600 startups, 90 incubators and accelerators, and more than 50 angel investors and venture capitalists, the country is full of potential. These factors combined encourage foreign entrepreneurs to consider moving their startups here in the Philippines. With the signing of the Innovative Startup Act, the DOST, DICT, DTI, as the three lead agencies implementing the Philippine Startup Development Program, which is composed of programs, benefits, and incentives for startups and startup enablers promulgated through the respective mandates of national government agencies and through additional mandates provided by the provisions of the Innovative Startup Act. This collaboration among DTI, DICT, and DOST aims to address major challenges affecting startup founders, which includes capital requirements, market readiness, talent retention, and access to relevant mentors and networks. The three agencies are working closely to address this by harmonizing and aligning the country's startup policies and programs and ensure that we can address the needs of startups at every level in their development life cycle. Since the enactment of the Innovative Startup Act in 2019 and its implementing rules and regulations, in terms of government support, research and development have been strongly funded across different startup sectors, such as in ICT, health, food and agriculture, industry and emerging technology, and even women-led social enterprises. Collectively, more than 100 startups and incubators, including social enterprises, have benefited from more than 430 million through grants given by the government. To further accelerate startup growth, supporting activities such as hackathons and startup challenges, upskilling, mentoring, and acceleration up until globalization is now being comprehensively supported by government with harmonized programs from ideation, incubation, and acceleration up until scaling and growth. Through our comprehensive programs and together with the private enablers, the Philippine government has boldly brought its startups to the global stage. Through the years, more than 250 startups were already internationally promoted, with our startups wearing the Philippine flag and confidently representing our country, showing game-changing solutions proudly made by Pinoys. As part of the commitment in investing for the future through the National Development Company, government funds together with co-investment partners are now being deployed to provide the necessary equity funding for the scaling and growth of our startups. An initial amount of 500 million was allocated for equity, and we are also excited to share that we have invested in 2 local startups in Solex Technologies and Humble Sustainability. Innovation and entrepreneurship ecosystems, building in the regions by strengthening regional innovation ecosystems. Programs such as Scale, RAISE, HERIT, and Mentors Bootcamp have enabled and empowered key startup ecosystem players in the regions to bolster their internal capacity to support startups across different levels in their life cycles. The building of ecosystems has solidified its foundations through the convergence of regional startup consortia, through RECID, and the regional inclusive innovation centers, which serve as platforms that link together the different stakeholders, which are universities, LGUs, IPSOs, ITCOs, R&D labs, S&T parks, accelerators, startups, MSMEs, LEs, government agencies, and other players. The convergence of this regional innovation ecosystem has played a pivotal role in addressing issues and societal problems by applying technological solutions. We now have covered 16 regions in the Philippines where ideation, design workshops, and R&D multi-stakeholder engagements, among others, happen in collaboration with other government agencies, the academe, and private institutions. Moreover, we partnered with higher education institutions and state universities and colleges through our Technology Business Incubation, or TBI program. We provided them with funds to set up a TBI facility at their university, establish incubation programs, and create services for young entrepreneurs. Since 2009, we have established 84 robust TBI networks across various higher education institutions and state colleges and universities nationwide, which incubated 2,029 startups, created 6,918 jobs, attracted 1.89 billion in private investments for startups, generated 1.12 billion in revenue, and received 118.3 million in support from various partners. To wrap up, startups play a crucial role in the economic recovery, sustainable growth, and job creation, acting as catalysts for disruptive innovation. To address the challenges faced by Filipino startups and boost the Philippine tech ecosystem, we have conducted a strategic planning workshop to craft our plans until 2030 for the Philippine startup ecosystem. Later this morning, we will be soft launching that strategic plan. For the Philippine Startup Week 2024, we are excited for the diverse range of activities, from panel discussions and pitching events to community engagements, underscoring our dedication to creating an inclusive and dynamic startup ecosystem. Again, thank you for being here, and we wish you all an inspiring and productive Philippine Startup Week 2024.
Thank you very much, Yusek Buendia, for that very lovely welcome remarks. You know, Mirma, I think really we have all the right ingredients for a successful startup ecosystem here in the Philippines. Imagine we have, as Yusek Buendia mentioned, a young pool of very talented Filipinos. We have robust programs to support these entrepreneurs, and of course, government support. It is so important, and we're thankful that ISA is here. No, ISA para sa bayan, one for the nation in igniting Filipino innovation.
Right. Thank you, Mi-Ann, for that recap. And I really appreciated the fact that it was highlighted in that presentation, the partnerships, the valuable partnerships between the government agencies, the private sectors, and also the academe. So a very, very vibrant community. So to tell us more about it, all right, so we will now watch a compelling presentation which highlights the collaborative spirit and the growth of the Philippine startup ecosystem. So this is about a 30 to 40-minute video, and I'd like to invite everybody to please watch this, take down notes, and I'm sure it's going to be a wonderful video filled with a lot of learnings. Let's watch this.
Philippine Startup Week began in 2019 with a vision, just a modest gathering in a single conference hall in Ortigas, where around 1,000 attendees met over 3 days to connect and build. It was a small but significant step for the Filipino startup community, which was just beginning to take shape. Today, that vision has grown into the nation's largest startup event. What started in one room has expanded nationwide, with over 120 startups showcased annually, 50+ community events, and more than 100 speakers from across the country and the world. This growth isn't just in numbers, it's the story of our thriving startup ecosystem. Guiding this vision is the Innovative Startup Act Committee of the Philippines, responsible for implementing Republic Act No. 11337, or the Innovative Startup Act. This act aligns national startup programs, monitors their impact, and enhances access to benefits to drive the Philippine Startup Development Program forward. This year's theme, Isa para sa Bayan, Igniting Filipino Innovation, is more than a motto. It's a call for change. Across tech hubs, co-working spaces, and workshops, Filipino entrepreneurs are pushing boundaries, building a brighter tomorrow with passion and creativity. Spearheaded by the 3 founding government agencies of the ISA Committee, the Department of Science and Technology, DOST, the Department of Trade and Industry, DTI, and the Department of Information and Communications Technology, DICT. Isa para sa Bayan is a movement uniting visionaries, startups, and communities with a shared mission to tackle our country's toughest challenges. From fintech to health tech, agri-tech to AI, Filipino startups are creating solutions that drive sustainable growth and uplift communities. Philippine Startup Week celebrates our ecosystem's achievements and the profound impact of Filipino innovation. This gathering isn't just an event, it's proof of the resilience and strength of Filipino entrepreneurs who are shaping the future. And this is only the beginning. Isa para sa Bayan is a promise to keep building, creating, and innovating for a better tomorrow. Every entrepreneur, every startup, every idea is part of this shared vision. Welcome to Philippine Startup Week 2024, where every idea has the power to ignite a brighter future for the Philippines and beyond.
That was only a 3-minute video, not a 30-minute video. I stand corrected. I added a 0 right beside the 3. So just a 3-minute video.
That's right. But it was short and sweet, and it really sums up the Philippine ecosystem today.
Exactly. And that, it's a very wonderful transition video for the next part of the program. So the next part of the program, we have...
Okay. All right, so for the next part of the program, I know I was listening earlier, Yusek Buendia mentioned this in her opening remarks. The ISA committee has a very crucial role in creating long-term impact in our Philippine startup ecosystem.
So as a first step, we're now ready to do the soft launch of the ISA strategic planning. This is supported by the USAID upskills. So let's welcome once again Dr. Leah Buendia.
Mahirap po palang maging lead ng ISA kasi akyat po ng akyat sa stage at pinag-prepare ng maraming presentation. But again, pleasant good morning to everyone. Today marks a significant milestone for the Philippine startup ecosystem as we officially soft launch the Innovative Startup Act Strategic Plan for 2025 to 2030. May I request all the members of the Philippine Innovative Startup Act Steering Committee to please stand and be recognized. They have been part of that workshop. Of course.
Yusek, andito rin yung pag-ayusin stride nasa script naman.
Parang konti lang. Pero ayon si Miss Dayan, si Jojo Flores, Yusek Fita, Yusek Josel, they put their minds and their hearts to have this startup strategic plan. And of course, without the support of the USAID Upskill, who provided both the funds and the expertise to initiate the discussions on the Innovative Startup Act Strategic Plan. May I request USAID Upskill? Hi. Thank you very much from all the steering committee members. So the Philippines is one of the few countries in Asia that has a specific law for startups, the Innovative Startup Act, RA 1137, which was signed by then President Rodrigo Duterte. With the signing of the law, the Innovative Startup Act Steering Committee was formed through a joint administrative order by the DOST, DTI, and DICT. The ISA Steering Committee is tasked to provide strategic guidance and oversight in the formulation, implementation, and development of the Philippine Startup Development Program. The Philippine Startup Development Program is composed of programs and initiatives for startups and startup enablers. The ISA Steering Committee is chaired in rotation by the lead agencies, which are the Department of Trade and Industry, who led us for the last maybe more than 2 years kasi nag-pandemic. Kaya si Yusek Fita ang medyo matagal na nag-lead ng ISA. And last year, she reported all the accomplishments of ISA. We also have the Department of Information and Communications Technology, which will also serve for another 2 years after DOST's term. So that will be next year. So by next year, it's going to be DICT. But for now, you have to be contented with me because I am the chair from last year, November 2023 to 2025. Okay. So other relevant government agencies such as the National Development Company, the Department of Finance, the Department of Foreign Affairs, among others, are also invited in the ISA Steering Committee as needed. Ms. Diane Eustaquio and Mr. Jojo Flores are also part of the steering committee as the private sector representatives. Last August 11 to 12, 2023, The first ever ISA Steering Committee Strategic Planning Workshop was held in Makati City with the support of the Research Triangle Institute under the U.S.-Philippines Partnership for Skills, Innovation, and Lifelong Learning Program. The workshop brought together relevant government agencies and the private sector to discuss pressing issues and challenges of the Philippine startup ecosystem and develop the Philippine Startup Development Plan covering 2025 to 2030 that will guide the ISA Steering Committee in the implementation of programs, projects, and initiatives as mandated by RA 1137. We would like to thank Dr. Richard Abendan, Mr. Wadel Cabrera, Ms. Dada Ala. Ecosystem Index, the country ranks 60th in the top 100, while it ranked in the 81 to 90 among the emerging startup ecosystems in 2024. Global Startup Ecosystem Report of the Startup Genome. The country's startup ecosystem value also increased from $3 billion in 2022 to $6.4 billion in 2023. This is driven by the increase in the funds raised by the startups. But just to inform you that there is no separate fund for the ISA or the RA 1137. We have individual funds coming from DOST, DICT, policies to overcome bureaucratic hurdles. At the external level, there is an urgency to address the low readiness of startups for investments, which results to the lack of investors, especially in the regions. Limited access to reliable internet and internet connectivity and other infrastructure also poses challenges for startups. To address those issues and challenges, the ISA Steering Committee presents our strategy map that highlights our outcomes, targets, key result areas, and key initiatives to reach our 2030 vision, which is a Philippine startup ecosystem that sustains Filipino entrepreneurship. This vision encapsulates the aspiration for a robust and supportive environment in the Philippines that fosters the growth and success of Filipino entrepreneurs by rationalizing and harmonizing the Philippine Startup Development Program to generate results for the Innovative Startup Act. ISA also stands for incubators, startups, and accelerators, which is our primary customers, each with corresponding intended outcomes and targets by 2030. Specifically, we want to achieve the following: a sustained operations for technology business incubators through strengthened higher education institution entrepreneurial capacity. Startups have access to technical and financial resources to scale and grow, and accelerators and investors adequately support the sustainability of startups. With this, we are targeting 50 quite a challenge. To achieve this, we will focus our efforts in enhancing program design and implementation, resource generation and mobilization, policy innovation, organizational strengthening, and stakeholders engagement while we continuously deliver our initiatives and programs for startups and startup enablers. To further strengthen the Philippine startup ecosystem, these strategic priorities will be implemented. Innovation-friendly regulatory sandbox by simplifying and expediting regulatory processes for startups. Globally competitive talent pool by improving the quality of education and training programs, particularly in STEM fields, implementing policies to attract and retain skilled talent, and promoting entrepreneurship education in schools and universities. Strong collaboration among stakeholders by creating platforms and opportunities to connect startups with experienced mentors and industry experts, encouraging collaboration between startups, corporations, and government agencies, and creating a culture that values innovation and risk-taking. Enhanced access to capital by streamlining government processes for startup funding, such as tax incentives and grants, encouraging the growth of venture capital funds and angel investor networks, and promoting crowdfunding platforms to provide alternative funding sources. Robust infrastructure by investing in high-speed internet connectivity and digital infrastructure, creating dedicated tech hubs and innovation centers to foster collaboration and knowledge sharing, and increasing government funding for research and development to drive innovation. For the next year, the ESA Steering Committee will be busier than ever as we have a full line of activities spread in different quarters of 2025. This includes the conduct of awareness survey on the ESA programs, relaunch of the Startup PH portal, and policy discussion to address budget limitations at the first quarter of the year. We also plan to discuss collaboration with the National Innovation Council of NEDA to harmonize our efforts and develop a unified ESA branding and communication plan at the second quarter. We also plan to conduct study visits to benchmark best practices of other global ecosystems, send startups to international events and conferences for global exposure, and conduct focus group discussions with startups and startup enablers to enhance delivery of our services and programs at the third quarter. Lastly, we will conduct a year-end review and assessment of our plans and strategies and craft new programs and initiatives for 2026 implementation by the fourth quarter, along with the conduct of the Philippine Startup Week and Startup Expo 2025. And by that time, I will transfer the baton to DICT. We are optimistic, very optimistic, that the future looks brighter for the Philippine startup ecosystem. And we need all the support that we can get from all our partners in implementing our programs and plans to achieve our vision. We have come a long way, but there is still a lot to be done. As they say, malayo na, pero malayo pa. Let's work harder together for a stronger and sustainable startup ecosystem. Maraming salamat po at mabuhay ang Filipino startup. Mabuhay ang Pilipinas.
Maraming salamat, Dr. Lea. Dr. Lea, may we request you to please stay here in front? We would like to request the members of the committee to please join us here in front for our picture taking, of course, with Ms. Erica from USAID and Upscale. So please join us here in the middle for the photo op. Again, requesting all the members of the steering committee, please join us here in front for the group photo. All right, we have the members of the media, our official photographer. Please raise your hand so they know who the official photographer is for the event. There he is. All right. All right, everyone look at him. He's a official photographer, everyone. All right, thank you once again, Dr. Lea Buendia and members of the steering committee, and of course, Ms. Erica from USAID Upscales. This is so exciting, Nirma. I mean, there's really a lot of work to join you here. I want to join you. Please. What is this installation? I wonder. I know I've been looking at this. Before we proceed to the next part of our program, I just want to draw everyone's attention to this tableau. Of course, we see here the number 1. And we also see here the letters PHSW24, isa para sa bayan. All right, so it's very interesting. For those of you, maybe later on you can come and see. This is actually a tableau, and we can see here that this tableau represents something. Everything that we need, basically the ingredients that we need in order for us to push forward isa nga para sa bayan. So meron tayo dyan, collaborate. Okay, in my area, we also have showcase, we have develop, and lever. And lastly, we have invest. So those are some of the ingredients that we will need. So at this point, again, thank you so much, Undersecretary Dr. Lea Buendia. Startup Week will not be complete without hearing the successful Filipino startup story. So Filipinos who have significantly given an impact in both the local and global stage. So the panel discussion focusing on the ISA Committee's roadmap for strengthening and sustaining the Philippine startup ecosystem, wherein they will discuss strategies, challenges, and opportunities to create long-term impact in the Philippines ecosystem. So here to tell us more about how ISA plans to strengthen and sustain this vibrant startup ecosystem, may we invite on stage again USEC Dr. Lea Buendia of the DOST. We also have USEC Fita Aldaba from the DTI. We also have USEC Attorney Joselle Batapa Sige from the DICT. And this panel will be moderated by Dayan Dugan Eustaquio of Pinvest. So as they come up, may I just give an introduction of Dayan. So Dayan's joy comes from enabling others, especially budding entrepreneurs. Through her work with tech startups, she has mentored close to 500 entrepreneurs. She was executive director of Idea Space, a tech startup accelerator from 2012 to 2021. Still very much engaged in the Philippine startup ecosystem, she chairs several technical panels at the Department of Science and Technology
is one of two private sector representatives to the Innovative Startup Act Steering Committee and conducts training on customer discovery through several Philippine universities. So again, may I invite everyone to please draw your attention to the panel.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning, our dear USEX. How are you feeling today? Good morning.
Looks like there's no gender issue when it comes to this time.
At this level, no gender issue. But still, at the startups, we still need more women in the boards, no? So anyway, we shall start. I'd like to start first. Our topic is a heavy topic, a little bit abstract, but I'd like to start first with warming up with some stories, and any of the USEX may start. I'd like to hear your startup story. This is already the 6th startup week. So I'd like to hear your startup stories, how things have grown, and maybe share your favorite story in the past 6 years.
Okay, you say the topic is heavy. It's heavier when I see people eating and I have no breakfast yet. Anyway, first of all, good morning, mayong aga, mayong buntag. I hear we have live streaming all over the Philippines. The Philippine Startup Week is for the whole country, not only for Metro Manila, but for the whole country. So you said the ISA or the Philippine Startup Week is already on a 6th year. This is actually my 2nd year only. Celebrating in the national level. So my stories are more in the regions, my stories are more in the provinces. So just a quick one, I'd like to share with everyone, also to inspire the regional champions out there listening to us virtually. I have this story, the story is called Negros First Cyber Center Technology Business Incubator, which I started in 2013 in Bacolod. Nobody actually know what an incubator is. They thought it's just for chicken, when you incubate chicken. So at the time, I had to propose to the provincial government, the late Governor Marañon had to learn what a startup is, what an incubator, accelerator, and innovation looks like. So I got the buy-in of the province. They invested 3 million worth of facility in a big techno building, an ICT building. And I also had to pitch to DTI, and they gave me about 1 million pesos to buy computers under the Shared Service Facilities Program of SSF. And then I felt it wasn't enough. I also went to DOST, Region 7, and I applied for innovative startup support. They also gave me about 1 million to buy facilities. And I went to DICT. And guess what DICT gave me? They did not give me anything. Except they said the moral support that's coming from former USEC Mon Ibrahim, So the moral support was so expensive, it was so expensive that we actually managed to scale the technology business incubator, and we have around 10 in-house startups and around 20 external startups. But the reality is, in every story, there's always a happy ending, there's always a sad ending. So I'll share the sad ending. The sad ending is, if it's LGU run, there's always the political factor. So the incubator ran for as long as Governor Marañon was in office. But the good news was, just as soon as we were about to wind up, because a new administration in the province was coming, DOST came with their incubators and accelerators, and they chose TUPV to be their in-house or in-school incubator. So parang hindi rin na blanco yung Negros and Bacolod because first LGU-based and then now university-based. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing how you hustled for startups long ago. Yusek Fita, you're holding the mic now. Would you like to be the next to share your story?
Sure, thank you, Diane, and good morning, everyone. It's 1 year has passed, and it just happened so quickly. And each day, I think there's something new being added in terms of what's happening in our startup community, in the startup scene. But just to go back a little bit, since Diane is asking what my favorite story is in terms of my involvement in the startup community. Well, I think we really need to thank all the people who supported, all the groups that really were instrumental in terms of shaping the ecosystem and where we are right now. Of course, this was all because of the efforts of people like Idea Space, the members of the Idea Space, and Kickstart, and then we had Kubo. Kubo actually is still with us in DTI, but it's also being supported by DOST as well as the other corporations, private sector here in the country. And I think around 2015, 2016, there were quite a number of startups. I would say hundreds, a few hundreds. And in terms of valuation, I would say around 100 to 300 million. And right now, we're already, in terms of size, we've grown to over 1,000 startups with a valuation, which we saw earlier, of over $6 billion US dollars. And then we also have 2 unicorns from the fintech sector, Paymaya and Gcash, who, by the way, were able to reach their unicorn status during the pandemic. And so for me, during the pandemic, it's really one unforgettable story. But prior to the pandemic, 3 very important laws were passed. The Innovative Startup Act in 2019, and during the same year, the Philippine Innovation Act. The Ease of Doing Business Act was also passed during the same year. And then we had the Create Law also around the same year, and the Pinoy very recently, and the one-person corporation, which I think is also one important legislation that our startups need. So that was in 2019, and then we had the pandemic in 2020. So what to do? But while of course we faced a lot of uncertainties, a lot of difficulties and challenges during the pandemic, but at the same time, what we've seen was it was actually during the pandemic when a lot of startups actually emerged, and those that were existing, they were quickly able to pivot to activities that would address the problems back then, social distancing, and then online learning, online education. The need for technology really was so, that was the main, I think one of the main solutions that was provided during that time. And the reason why we have grown this big at this time, I think the pandemic was sort of like a turning point. It was a very difficult time, but at the same time, we've seen how resilient we are. We've seen the innovation that emerged out of that situation. And at the same time, while we thought that, where will we get the funding? But what we've seen was a lot of our startups were also able to raise funds, Seed A, Seed B funding, Series A and Series B, I mean, and then a lot of other startups that emerged. So for me, really, that was a turning point, a crucial part of our story in terms of the growth of our startups.
Thank you, Yusek Fita. Yes. The memory seems so far away, but how fast things have changed since the pandemic sort of ended. Yusek Leah, your story, please.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Maybe because I'm the oldest among the youth heads, I would like to date back 2000. In 2000, that was the start of the startups, I think. But during that time, it's not called startup. It's technology business incubators. That's why we raised funds for these TBIs. We have one with UP Ayala TBI. We have UP Cebu TBI. We have the DOST PESDA TBI. We have several TBIs during that time. But the thing is, there was already awareness as far as the year 2000 was, which means we have already put in place some of the funding and some of the support system for these kinds of TBIs and startups. And of course, everything was history. But now I think with the law, it will make more our startups more complete and more enhanced in order to be part of the whole ecosystem of startups. And of course, we have our target of 4 unicorns by 2030. So I think we have gone a long way, and with you journeying with us, we will not go wrong this time. Thank you.
Okay. So now you know these 3 ladies have been involved for a quarter of a century. So Yusek, so 25 years ago, there are already efforts. And finally, we have a law. Finally, we have also more resources going to 3 different sectors of society, government, academe, and also the very strong force of private sector. So let's go to how we can make all of these efforts sustainable. Yusek Giselle showed us how it was her personal hustle. Yusek Pita shared with us how, we also have to hustle and ensure we put policy in place. So what do you think are the challenges that make it difficult for us to pursue sustainable innovation? Maybe you can share from your respective departments. What are the challenges within your departments to ensure the efforts are sustainable?
Yeah, I can start. I think when it comes to challenges, we're not short of it, but we have a lot of challenges. But first and foremost, what comes to mind is, one, our researchers do not have that entrepreneurial mindset, which means they just do research. After they get all the results, they stop. And it's published, and it's just there, sitting in their shelves. But I think that entrepreneurial mindset when it comes to entrepreneurship. They don't want to share their research results because of IP issues and the like. So it's better for them to just publish and just keep it on the shelves. And third, policy may be when it comes to universities. because publication gets more points when it comes to promotion rather than technology transfer or commercialization. So these this does not need enough funds, but it could be a starting point where all of us can contribute and change that paradigm.
Yeah, I think the DOST has made efforts already. We have the sprint program where we're trying to transform the researchers into crossing that scary line. I was with many of them last week. It's scary for them because it's a change of life plan. Yusuf Giselle, how about in your department? What are the challenges to make our efforts in innovation sustainable?
It says here we have 20 minutes to go for this panel. So, that's not even enough to share the challenges. 3 minutes. But I want to transcend and go beyond just the Department of ICT, but the whole Philippine innovation ecosystem. 10 days ago, I was sitting in a panel with around 7 countries, and I was moderating the panel. It's all about ecosystems for impact. It's the Global Innovation Forum, where the discussion really revolved around digital innovation. And one thing I noticed across all the countries present there presenting was that there was a very healthy balance in terms of resources going to digital infrastructure and resources going to digital innovation. So for me, that's the biggest challenge. How do we pitch to our decision makers to somehow close the very wide gap in terms of investments into infrastructure and innovation? That's very important for us, not only in the national level, but also in the local level. We cannot just go build hard structures and spend on technology. We need to invest in utilizing and leveraging on this technology so that our lives get better, so that we have enough jobs, so that we are upskilled, so that our GDP grows. So that is the goal of countries today. Invest more in innovation, particularly in digital innovation. So for me, that's the biggest challenge. ISA is, for me, the biggest hope of this country. And next year is going to be a big year for us in the DICT because we will be chairing it. But I believe in shared leadership. The shared leadership is important in pushing for innovation. So sana next year, it will be a whole of nation approach for us to really give a big push towards innovation. Number 2, we need to really consolidate our experts. In the ITU, as your ITU counselor of the Philippines, I'm sitting there now, and I'm proud to say that last year, the ITU convened a digital innovation board. Only 23 countries were invited to sit in the board. And I sit in the Digital Innovation Board. And one of the key suggestions, I don't know, it just came out of my head. Maybe the food was good, so I was a little bit intelligent during the discussion. But the discussion was, how do we sustain? Now, my suggestion was create a global network of experts to help build a digital innovation ecosystem around the world. So maybe that is also one dirt that we have to look into. We need to call out all the innovation experts. Kasi ang problem sa government, we do not know it all. We need to tap all of the experts in different fields to come together. Of course, we need to put in resources for these experts because kumakain din sila, di ba? So we need to invest in experts to come because, ang sabi nga ni Yusek Lea, if hindi mag-share even internal experts of government, we need to bring in the other experts, the private experts. And of course, thirdly, just to continue my story earlier, we need to find politicians who are visionaries because we are going into another election season, and this is key for us. we need to also bring in the innovation mindset into the administrative and political side, because private sector also cannot do it alone. We need to understand that politics will always affect our movement, our scale in the innovation sector. Ms. Diana.
Thank you. Yusek Pita has picked up her mic already. Thank you, Giselle.
Yeah, I of course resonate with what my colleagues have already pointed out. But I'd like to go back to the ecosystem. I think as DTI, really one very important role that we need to carry out is linking the private sector, linking our companies, our large enterprises, including the medium-sized ones and the SMEs, linking them with our startups, either as partners to help them address or find solutions to the problems that they are faced with, so as customers, and also in the future, maybe as investors. But that's still for the future. I guess one very important issue is that there's still a lot of gaps. There's still much work we need to do in order to really be able to say that our innovation ecosystem is strongly connected or strongly linked with our entrepreneurship ecosystem. And I think this is the root of the pointed out Yusek Leia in terms of the absence of the entrepreneurial culture here in the country, and hence really the need for us to work closely together and perhaps also to carry out more awareness building, trying to help people understand what startups are. And at the same time, I'm really hoping, because while I've mentioned all the previous, the PIA, Philippine Innovation Act, Innovative Startup Act, where we're supposed to get funding to support the different programs that we're carrying out. So far, we haven't received any, and I'm thinking as a proposal, Yusek Leia and Yusek Josel, if we can perhaps put together one set of program, one proposal to be submitted by the ISA, no longer under the name or individual name of our agencies, but come up really with a good package, put together all our programs, and lobby strongly so as to be able to get the necessary funds that we need. Because even if you look at the various stages in the life cycle of a startup, we're still not able to fund some of the stages. Like in ideation, for instance, I think we have to put some money in there, and if we can also enhance and expand all our existing programs by being able to get the necessary funds, I think that's really crucial in terms of developing more startups that can go into commercialization, that can go into really the Series A or Series B already, because 6 years is not long. And our target is to have 4 unicorns by 2030. And hence, it's really important that we provide a more comprehensive set of support, all the necessary expertise, the talent, the people, and the money, the resources that we need to boost the growth of our startups.
Yeah, so how do we get those 2 other unicorns? Maybe from the logistics or the e-commerce sector, no? Para complementary to fintech. Yeah, I would like to go further into funding, since Yusek Fita mentioned it. What mechanisms and programs are available to support their research initiatives from the DOST? How can we improve that the pipeline from DOST to DTI in terms of funding our deep tech, more research based startups. Yes, ma'am. Easy. Yusek Leah.
Well, actually, in terms of funding, I think we have been putting a lot of funds for startups when it comes to research. But our startups supposed to be, these are startups which needs to still polish their products through research and development. They should be able to show that their proposals need funds in order to polish or do some more things in order to make their startups be feasible or more income generating. And that is why we have funded. In fact, we have funded around 500 or more than 500 million startups, so pesos, 500 million pesos worth of startup grant funds. And this is not only for the industry or the energy sector, we have for the agriculture sector as well, and we have also for the health sector. So it encompasses all sectors that DOST is mandated to do so. But increasing the funds, I think every year, since there is an increase in funds, well, for the Department of Science and Technology, we always put in some increases in the Startup Grant Fund. But as Yusek Fita said, if the government will provide funds to the ISA, it will be easier to have more funds to really focus on the startups rather than just have individual funds where, of course, you have, the department has the discretion to maybe reduce or to maybe put it in some other important programs. But if it is specified for ISA, then it will be easier for us to allocate funds.
So there's a lot of work for us to lobby for funding from the legislative sector.
Yeah, if I may intervene, Diane, at this point, we need the money, we need additional resources because not all of the startups that we will be supporting will become successful. 50%, is that high or still low? 50% success rate.
That's still high.
That's still too high. I mean, I've seen the numbers in Indonesia and so impressive. I mean, with the tremendous support that their universities are getting, each of them really have very good programs, and each university has its own set of industry priorities. And hence, the way I see it, there's really not much duplication in terms of the efforts, but the success rate is something like 60%. And I was really amazed when they presented those figures to us, and thinking of what we're doing here in the Philippines. I mean, we pale in comparison to what other governments are providing in terms of support, in terms of resources, in terms of building their own innovation infrastructure, because we don't have those facilities, those laboratories that we saw in Indonesia. For example, we visited 3 universities in Jakarta, in Bandung, as well as in Bogor, and they were all right now so busy building those new facilities that would help them promote and develop the growth and growth of their startups. And I was telling myself how I wish we have the same things going here in the Philippines. Of course, all of us are really doing our best, DOST, DICT, DTI, but really the reality is we don't have that much funding support. I won't mention the programs that Israel implemented while it was growing its ecosystem, or what Singapore has.
because we're right now still far away from the ecosystems that have been built in these countries. But if we're able to really work together, collaborate for ISA to work together with NIC, and for NIC to also provide us with the necessary support, because I think we have a lot of very good programs, except that we're only able to serve a few. And in fact, our programs are actually concentrated here in NCR. And even our startups, in terms of geographic location, over 60% are based here in NCR. And we know that there are budding startups all over the country, as experienced by Yusek Josel. And hence, really, the need for funds, because the programs are there, but we need the funds to implement them.
Yusek Josel, I know, may hugot yan.
I'll answer first your question very specifically. Three things. Funding. Far or long term would be, number one, amend the law, ensure that the ISA law contains a specific provision on the year-to-year funding, and ensure that the ISA is really recognized in the law as the the repository of the funding. Okay. Number two, so that's long term. The not so long term is, I'm happy to share with you, everyone, that a lot of foreign grants are available, especially for digital innovation, Israel, Korea. And so I'm thinking, let's go and apply as ISA. No, not only the ICT, because I believe innovation is not only the ICT's term. It's a whole of nation. It's an ISA approach. So Korea, for example, KISD is offering a lot of grants. They're actually complaining why we're not applying. And the most low-hanging fruit is, let's all lobby for the extension of the application for the National Innovation Fund, because it ended 2 days ago. And if you want a very impactful application, if NEDA is listening right now, maybe they can wait for the ISA application. The ISA can actually submit a joint application for an innovation fund for the startup innovation ecosystem of the Philippines. Don't you think maybe a 1-week extension could help us really get the ball rolling? Because to conclude, Mr. Yan, innovation comes from the root word innovare. It means new. If we're still doing the old, that's not innovation. Now, although we are old, but we are very innovative in terms of mindset. So innovare means we do new things. Innovation means it's not what we do, it's not what DOST or DTI or DICT are doing, it's how we do it. It's how we do things faster, quicker. And so here you have three powerful ladies trying to solve the innovation problem of this country. Powerpuff Girls. So please help us, because I just have to add this. If you're having a problem getting applications in the levels of our department, in the DICT, we have an overwhelming application of startup challenges in universities. We are reaching 800 applicants every year, 600 universities. In short, yung idea nanggagaling in the young people, in the universities. But walang pera doon to help them. Imagine last year, out of 600 entries, the one that emerged as winner is an AI-aided coding app. And they won, they got the prize, but nobody actually got to them and, asked for their idea. And we have hundreds and hundreds of ideas in universities, and there's not enough resources to nurture these ideas.
Okay, yeah, there's so much to talk about and so many stories to share. So I hope this very abstract concept of making our innovation ecosystem sustainable is more concrete with everyone in the room. By the words of the USEX, they mentioned, number one, the glue. All of us need to work together. When we talk about supporting the early stage entrepreneurs who come out of universities, it's not just funding, but many of you who are experts here can step up and offer your mentoring services and coach them. That's a huge resource, more, I think, more powerful than funding also. Mindset is also something that we have to keep working on. Everyone in this room, definitely, I would like to believe, has the growth mindset. But how do we make this ripple? And through the help of the 3 agencies and also other government agencies, we need to ripple this mindset across. Knock, knock, DOF, BIR. Yeah, these are the people who we'd like to see in next year's Startup Week, get them more involved, hopefully. And then our other resources like our researchers, they need to also come and be in the picture. So we have 18 seconds left, but I would like to leave pass the mic on to our USEX to also maybe last billion before we move on to the next part of the program. Any more?
0 minutes.
Yeah, 0 minutes, but then there's still something maybe you'd like to point out.
Okay, si Yusek Rhea ang last as chair. Bibilisan ko, I'll just share with you the 3 key takeaways from the ITU session on digital innovation. What makes a digital innovation or an innovation ecosystem? Number 1, collaboration is essential for ecosystem growth. Number 2, strategic partnerships to enable impactful innovation. Number 3, adaptability and local capabilities are key to success. Soldier, tomorrow I will fly to Cebu and consult for purposes of policy formulation and revisiting policies about 30 startups in Cebu, following the ISA vision. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Also, well, of course, collaboration, I think we have emphasized that, but we really need to work together. At this point, I mean, we're faced with so many challenges, but at the same time, we have a lot of very good ideas. There are a lot of problems that we need to address. And by working together, I believe that we will be getting there. And I would also want to share that we're trying to secure a loan from the Asian Development Bank to address this funding issue that we've been discussing. And we hope that through this loan, we'll be able to provide more grants. We'll be able to sit together with our 2 partners, aside from the NEDA, of course, the NIC. But like what I've said, we're already in the process really of putting together all the different programs, as well as being able to strengthen this whole of government and whole of society approach that we so badly need in order for us to really build a robust innovation and entrepreneurship ecosystem.
Thanks, Yusuf. Yusuf Leia?
Thank you. I'd like first to thank all the people who put their hands together, their minds together to have this Philippine Startup Week. But I'd like to also to take this opportunity to also get the Secretary Renato Solidum's message. Sa siyensya, teknolohiya, startup mo kikita. Thank you very much.
But our director has just given me word that we're not letting you go until there is a Q&A. So the mics are there for those who want to ask a question. You only have 5 seconds to go to the mic. If you don't go to the mic, then I will declare this panel closed. So yes. Doc Al, you can just. Please introduce yourself,
Yeah.
Doc Al.
I'm Dr. Al Sarafika. I'm representing the National Academy of Science. Today, we have a program actually in NAST looking at ecosystems for build-up. We specifically focus on 4 specific industries as funding came from NEDA. RC Balisacan is a member of NAST. And the way we approach the ecosystem evaluation in EV, electric vehicles, AI, additive manufacturing, Onyx Technologies, and Agritech. Those are the 5. Part of the model that we're using is looking at a 5-member team in each of the solutions team to address a particular problem. That being the normal 3 teams, academe, industry, and government, but we added the entrepreneur and risk capital. So like in a basketball team, tao-tao, 5. Now, I wanted to highlight that most of you guys are part of the entrepreneurial team here. How many of you are part of this greater, we call it transdisciplinary teams? And what can our 3 Wonder Women in government be able to facilitate this formation of these transdisciplinary teams so that the startups can start charting? Because government still is more likely the biggest customer for our startups. So by talking to them early for funding, eventual applications, and sustainability, they'll be more likely to become unicorns. So what can we do to promote this formation of transdisciplinary teams, and who amongst our group, which I always represent DTIs, industry provider, who are the users, who are the customers. The UST provides the funding and the product development initially, and the ICT also can do the data validation as well as the actual feasibility testing. But hopefully we can expand that amongst the industries. But what do you think should we do in terms of promoting this mindset of not just being an entrepreneur with 1 product, 1 customer, but really being part of this transdisciplinary team involving industries, risk capital like League of Corporate Foundation funding. There's about 6 billion of those available in education alone. So clearly, this is a wonderful opportunity to meet all the startups today. Thank you.
Okay, I guess that question should also hopefully rest in the minds of the audience. What do you do to promote more transdisciplinary teams, no, and sharing across? But there are only 3 people who will be given the mic to give their opinion on and what maybe their respective departments have already done to encourage this kind of practice.
Well, actually, we've been talking to respond to your question. But first, we'd like to see a concrete proposal on this concept, and then kindly address it to ISA, not to the individual departments, because then we will decide as ISA who will lead what and where will the resources be coming from. So just send it to the chair of ISA, address to the chair of ISA, and then we will decide on that as a group.
Okay, I think I can vouch for programs within your, because I've been involved with all 3 of your departments, of the transdisciplinary teams. But I think Doc Al says we need to step on the metal, or step on the accelerator a lot more and put more fuel to that. Okay, one more question and then we will let these 3 ladies go. Yes, sir.
Good morning.
Okay, go ahead.
Jose Ingles, Philippine Inventor Society. I was at the ADB Business Opportunities Fair, and they said they have a fund for startups at high-tech advanced. But after the event, I checked with the registration. The registration is closed. Number 2, I noticed that the DTI and the ADB is negotiating a $400 million loan for an innovation hub, which that will give you enough funding, I think.
What is the question, Mr. Ingles?
Input lang.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Ingles. He has been a personality that we have met for more than 6 years already. Yeah. And
If I may just also in response to the 400 million loan that we're currently negotiating, we've just submitted the proposal. But I'd like to point out as well that it's just that it's DTI who submitted the proposal, but in terms of the implementation, this is going as what Yusek Leia mentioned a while ago. For the startup component, this is going to be under the ISA. We'll make sure that that kind of approach will be what will be carried out once the loan has been approved and once it's going to be implemented. And yeah, we've been having discussions with the two other partners we ISA. So that's really the direction to go. It's no longer DTI on its own, but we just sort of discussed and coordinated and prepared the proposal. In terms of the implementation, it's going to be the three of us. Thank you.
Okay, so
I just would like to add to the answer and to the question of presenter earlier. So this is what we're trying to fix in ISA. The good thing about all this exercise is we understand our gaps and our lapses. So one of the things we pointed out was how do we communicate with our stakeholders? And in your case, you said, nag-close na yung grant, hindi mo pa alam, di ba? So what we're trying to do in ISA is to make sure that all our programs and interventions trickle down to every region in this country. You know, it's very important that we inform our stakeholders that there are grants, there are applications that are called for, and hindi lang dito lang sa NCR yung mga calls na to. So in ISA, we'll do better. I think part of our program during the planning was all about strategic communications. Number two, I like the idea earlier of even Dr. Al. This is what I'm saying, an expert network of innovators attached to ISA so that anytime we have a poll to tap on, diba? Thank you.
thank you. Thank you. So we have room for only one last question according to the director, and I see a gentleman at the mic. Is that Dennis? The last one? Okay.
Thank you, ladies, for being at the forefront of driving change for our country. That's awesome. So here's my question. What can ISA and the startup founder community do together to influence tax reform and government financial incentives to motivate consumers and businesses to buy Philippine-made tech and innovations? A couple of examples. India has created a $54 billion tech spending environment and ecosystem internally. Malaysia has created a $100 million intra-country tech spending economy. The Philippines alone has a software as a service spending opportunity that will reach almost $1 billion in the next 5 years. We all talk about funding. Every group needs it. But what can we do to unlock the economic funding ourselves together? Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis, for that question. Actually, that's one of the questions I asked the three USECs also in 2018 when we had our first TBI conference in Manila Hotel. How much does government spend in procuring technology from our own? Do you think it has increased from your respective departments? And then let's close with that.
Maybe it all boils down to policy, I think. First, we have startups But in the procurement law, they cannot be part of the procuring of the service provider because they need to have at least 3 years of track record. So that's one. So how can you buy and support the startup if in the law it's not allowed? And so I think that is why we have to really look into the laws that affects ISA and the whole startup ecosystem in order to manage how the economy can bring in the startups to a higher level. So laws are very important. It defines how we will move forward. And like, for example, in the, I don't know, but Dr. Eric has this experience with NDC on our startups. They will not support the startups because they need to have a very high equity valuation. So, which means it's not even supportive of startups. So number one will be policies. That is why in the strategic plan, policies is one of the major tasks of ISA.
You said Giselle and you said Fita. Yes. All right, so quick lang, I wrote my answer so it's not so long. So first, of course, I agree with policies, but policies are also living documents. You need to push it because it's not really that easy, no? So, but I agree policies will shape the strategies to your question. But what build communities? I think in this latest installment of the Philippine Startup Week, we need to recognize ecosystem builders and communities. Hindi natin sila napapansin eh. The silent people who create incubators, accelerators, not necessarily from the government sector, but we have private people. Let's create communities in different regions. Let's build critical mass of people who would like to support Pinoy Digital. That's the most important thing. I spent $10 60 minutes ago to buy the chip of eTag. Okay? So these little things I do, buying Tatak Pinoy. My cell phone only contains Pinoy games. That's how I, personify Tatak Pinoy. If we can buy Tatak Pinoy in what we wear, let's also buy Tatak Pinoy Digital in what we use as software and platforms. And finally, let's be proud of Filipino products and services. We need to believe. And when we create this critical mass, I'm sure they will translate every 3 years in election, because now we will no longer ask for dole-outs. We will already ask for policies that really work for us. Thank you.
Yeah, and lastly, of course, right now, government is providing those traditional incentives like income tax holiday, tax and duty-free importation of your raw materials and capital equipment. But we know that for startups, these are not really the most meaningful tools that can help you in terms of growing your business. So grants, of course, are very much welcome, and we want to increase the amount of grants as well as expand this to a lot of beneficiaries coming from different sectors, particularly those whose activities would fall under the government's identified priority sectors. And then most importantly, I think what you've pointed out really is the way to go. It's a non-traditional way of doing things, and that's for government to really be the first buyer of our startup products. And under the Tatak Pinoy Act, we are also already identifying a list of products, Filipino products and services that should be procured or that should be prioritized by the government. We have an initial list, and
tech products and services are among those priority lists that we've submitted to the Council of the Tatak Pinoy for approval and then for discussion with the different government agencies. And at the same time, in DTI, we are also providing what we call the domestic bidders certificate. So if a Filipino company is going to participate in a government bidding, it has to get this certificate for it to be able to enjoy a 25% preference. So whatever the highest bid is, for the Filipino bidder, it gets a 25% margin or preference that would help it really be able to compete against the more established ones.
Okay, thank you very much. So as we close, I would like to thank the audience for being participative, and I know the small huddles you have with your seatmates reacting to the statements of the USEX shows how much engaged you are. 10 years ago, when we would have a forum like this and ask for questions from the audience, there's a lot of silence. And also the personalities from government would also be slightly clueless but now you can see that the three champions of the startup ecosystem as far as the government is concerned is very clear about what they're doing, what still needs to be done. So today is the start of more conversations, more collision of thinking, and let us continue to support each other and support the three champions here before you, please. So thank you very much, Yusek Giselle, Yusek Leia, and Yusek Tita.
All right, thank you once again to our lovely panelists. May you please stay on for a group photo first. Right, maybe invite. It's all right, ma'am. It was a very, very insightful discussion. So we just have some quick photos of the group. All right. Once again, let's give another round of applause to USEC Dr. Lea Buendia, USEC Dr. Fita Aldaba, USEC Attorney Giselle Batapa Sige. Thank you so much for that very, again, insightful discussion of the challenges and what else we can look forward to for the future of Philippine startups. Thank you, ma'am. All right. So here, Startup Week, that's all that we're celebrating this week. It will not be complete without an actual testimonial from a successful Filipino startup founder. All right, so as we are here to celebrate not only their achievements, but perhaps most importantly, the journey that has led them to what they have actually achieved. Here to inspire us, I want everyone to really listen to this. Here to inspire us of the story of how he founded the Gratitude Gang and the Grasshopper Project, we have Mr. Erwin Valencia. But before he comes up, I'd like to ask Mian to read just some things about Erwin. Yes, he has led a very interesting life, as you will hear later on. But for now, Dr. Erwin Benedict Valencia is an award-winning multi-hyphenate, high-performance coach, wellness expert, gratitude scientist, mentor, keynote speaker, two-time nonprofit founder, community builder, AI and wellness tech advisor, investor, and more. His most recent post was with the New York Knicks. So any of you fans of the New York Knicks? So as director in training and conditioning, leading all medical, performance, and wellness initiatives for close to a decade. He initiated the Teams of Mindfulness program alongside legendary coach Phil Jackson, started the first ever in-season daily breathwork program in the NBA, and was the first to collaborate with the meditation or meditation app headspace in order for it to be used as part of the team's recovery strategies. Amazing. His current passions lie with his two nonprofits, Grasshopper Project and Gratitude Gang, focusing on mentorship and mental health respectively, as well as serving as an advisor to a number of wellness and AI startups. So he is at the tail end of his sabbatical, spending more time rediscovering his roots, giving back and practicing what he preaches on how to live life to the fullest with purpose. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big, big round of applause for Mr. or Dr. Erwin Benedict Valencia.
All right, greetings and salutations, everybody. I got a whole bunch of stuff in my hand, so I'm going to put this down real quick. I'm not much of a podium guy, so you're not going to see me on that podium. I like to move around, and I like to normally move around and just go on the stage and kind of just have an idea of how everyone is doing. So, first of all and foremost, how's everyone doing this morning? I mean, once again, I didn't hear anything. How are you all doing this morning? Okay, that's much better. You guys didn't realize that you were in a personal growth seminar. That you came here like, I thought this was a startup tech thing. So anyway, we're going to slowly pull up the slides here. And once it gets up, I'll be able to put you guys on a journey of my journey, and hopefully it'll inspire you on your journey. If you are a startup founder, what are the startup founders here? Startup founders? Yeah, I like the little small hands here. You'll be proud. Damn, I'm a startup founder. You know, you got to do that. Any nonprofit founders here? Any nonprofit founders? I'm a nonprofit founder 2 times over. All right, cool. I love it. Try to give back. Any investors? Any investors? Angel investors? It's angel investors in the house. Me too. There we go. Any advisors doing it sweat equity to try to get that 1%? Any advisors in the house? Yeah, I like it. Okay, cool. We got a variety of people here. And okay, we got the sign saying like, okay, hold on 1 second. We're trying to like actually get the slides going, which is always an interesting situation. When you're actually already on stage, and then understand, respectful of everybody's space and everybody's time. So question for all of you guys is, do we think that it's possible to dream something and make it happen? Yeah, raise your hands. Damn, there's no dreamers here? Conference are you guys in? If you're not startup founders, then don't be here. Get out of here. You have to dream. You have to vision. You have to see the future ahead of you, or else it doesn't happen. I mean, let's be honest. If you think you're just going to sit down in your chair and you're going to be like, oh, this is going to happen. I'm going to win the lottery by merely sitting down in my chair. And you're lying to yourself. I mean, straight up. One of the things you learn is that you have to buy a lottery ticket. And if you don't buy a lottery ticket, you don't win. I mean, that's the bottom line. So hopefully in this journey, as I go through, I'll be able to like help you be inspired and maybe transform maybe some of you to look deep inside and say, look, I am a damn dreamer. And guess what? I'm going to make this happen. All right. So, all right, cool. So we're now officially online. Perfect. So thank you again for having me here. My name is Erwin Benedict Valencia. I am a high-performance coach. Right now, I'm a high-performance coach. I'm a wellness expert. And in this context of today's conference, this startup week, I'm also a 2-time nonprofit founder. I also started one of the first ever social impact Web3 projects in the Web3 NFT space with my mentor and advisor, Gary V. Or not Gary Valenciano, just to make sure. I'm sorry, some confusion. You see Gary B, huh? It's Gary V, and Gary Vanderchuck, if you guys know. He literally started what is now social media agencies. He's an early investor of Facebook, of Twitter, all that other stuff. So he's somebody I look to as it relates to something moving forward and innovative. So, and also to this context of today, I'm also Earl's brother. Anyone know my brother Earl Valencia? If you don't know Earl Valencia, then you don't know why you're here. So I'm just letting you guys know. He's my younger brother, just to let you guys know. Everyone thinks that I'm the younger brother because I'm the one that's like hanging out. I'm the one that's like going to parties. I'm the one that's going to Burning Man. You know, my brother is the one that actually like has a stable job, obviously has kids, and even he dreamed of the life that he had. I dreamed of a different kind of life. We're just different. So, but just to let you know, I'm the older, sexier brother. Just to let you know. So I just want to be straight up. So my brother's sexy in a different way. He has a mind that's a little different than mine. So on this journey, I've been blessed to be able to experience so many things that many people dream of. I've been so blessed and so thankful that when I was 18, I dreamed of a situation that would allow me to be one of the first ever Filipinos that was raised and educated in the Philippines to stand foot at an NBA court on a daily basis. And not only did I do that, I did it at the world's most famous arena. I did it the Mecca of basketball, Madison Square Garden. Anybody know what Madison Square Garden is? Anybody? It's just the dudes. You're like, yeah, we know. But Lakers kami, Lakers eh. So, I like the Mavs, okay? So shout out to the Mavs like that. Dallas in the house, Big D. I've been very blessed to not only have MSG as my office, if you must, but also I've been able to experience things in different lights. I've been able to use my clinical skills right up here as to be able to really physically help athletes at the times of needs and injury. But also, as I've gone later in my career, in my life, I've noticed that even though physical challenges hit my athletes, the greatest thing that makes an athlete different above everything else is their mindset. And just like startup founders, you need the mindset. You need the Mamba mentality. You need the Jordan stillness and presence. You need the ability to be calm like LeBron James. And as a startup founder, if you don't have that, you're already losing the battle. And so I've been blessed to be able to help a number of athletes become most improved players, to be in the running for MVP, to be able to bring them back to the understanding that basketball is just a game. And they're fortunate to be one of 300 people every year to play in the NBA and get paid millions of dollars to play this. Do you know, there's a little bit of favorite trivia here, that every year 60 new players come to the NBA, whether it's through the draft, whether it's through the trade, whether coming from Europe. So that means there's 60 NBA players that get kicked out of the league. Think about that. That is a massive percentage of people that change every year. So just like the startup world, it's easy to understand. And I put that in perspective because as a startup founder, you're just one of a million. You're asking for the same money everyone's asking. You're also the person that's trying to be in the ground level saying, like, I'm going to get this work done. But then you're just kicked out because next year, there's another crop of people that are coming in. Not even next year, maybe next month, maybe tomorrow. So it's important for you to understand that you need to have a certain mindset to allow you to take it to the next level. So before I start, that wasn't in my intro. That was just like, hey guys, that's my what's up. This is what I normally do for my intro. I do three things. Whether I'm speaking to about 150 of y'all here, or when I'm speaking to 5,000 people, when I'm talking to 1,000 people, when I'm talking to 5 people, I start with three things. First, I begin with gratitude. Anybody do any gratitude practice in the morning here? Anyone? Oh my God, we were just like, what, 10 people? I mean, 10, okay, fine, 15, you know. And I start with gratitude. First by saying thank you for having me here, to obviously everyone from the team here at Philippine Startup Week, for having me, and for Dave Del Rosario for contacting me, Kelly in the house, what's up? And for Diane and for everyone else that's here, I know that you do anything on a Monday morning, I guess, before lunch, and you're here listening to some amazing information from amazing panelists and speakers, but also you're here listening to me. I know you're here for the free food, let's be honest, and maybe the free coffee at pickup outside, but Thank you for coming in and listening to me, and obviously hopefully being present to be able to hear what I have to say. That hopefully inspires you to go on your own journey and fulfill dreams that you like to dream. Second, we're going to upgrade the selfie game here because I know us Pinoys, we love our selfies. So I'd like to get everyone to stand up, please. I know you're like, oh, we're going to stand up. Really? You guys have been sitting for like an hour and a half now. Get your butts up on, move on a little bit, staring at your computers, eating your food. We're human beings. If we don't move, we die. I mean, let's be honest. If you don't breathe, you die. So I want everyone to stand up real quick. And I know this is upgrading next level selfie vibes. Normally people use the camera, but you know what? We're not normal. So what I'd like to do is, this is not just for me, but for everyone over at Startup PH, is I'm going to record this. And all I want everyone to say is Startup PH. Is that cool? I mean, we're already doing a 360 situation. Anyone might have one of these things? These are crazy. So I'm up leveling the selfie experience by going and bringing it up like that, so that we can create a little globe. I know I'm like, okay, I see people here. All right, let's. There you go. Okay, cool. We're bringing it all the way up. I'm not even sure if I get seen, but anyways, I want everyone to say Startup PH on 3. Okay, is that cool? You got thumbs up? You got thumbs up there? Okay. All right, very good. 1, 2, 3. Startup PH. Woo! Jeez, what a tough crowd. Damn. Okay. One more time. Okay, one more time. Diane, you need this, Diane. Come on. All right. 1, 2, 3. Startup PH. Woo! Hindi kayo kumain sa akin, hindi kayo coffee. Ano ba yan? All right. Before you sit down, everyone's about to sit down now. I want to turn this off. Before you sit down, there's a third thing, as you can see, that's written over there. Third thing that's written over there, it's hugs. And so I'd like to give hugs. I'd like people to give hugs because it's important to create connections. If you're going to be a startup founder, it's a lonely journey. In order for you to be able to succeed in life, let's be honest. There's a study that was done by Harvard University for 75 years. And what they showed is that what the most prominent thing that allowed people to live longer, but also find more success in life, was the strength of their social connections. 75 years. And they say it's not the food that you eat, it's not the wine that you drink, it's not the walking, it's the relationships you have. So as people in the startup world, it's important to make sure you have good relationships to find success. Can I agree? Can everyone agree with that? All right, cool. So before you give hugs, I know atat na kayo, maghahag ba ha? So I'm gonna ask, can I ask a volunteer? Anyone want to volunteer? Anyone volunteer? I need a volunteer up here. Oh my God, everyone's like shy. I'm shy. Oh, Kelly, but Kelly in the house. Hey, Rico, what's up? Oh, I got Kelly though. Kelly's here. Kelly, you can volunteer. Let's give Kelly needs Hernandez a round of applause, please. Okay, that's the high five. That's not the hug yet. So this hug is backed by science. Just to let you know, I did a whole research on the study of the science of touch. I know I'm going to take this quick so that you guys can sit down, because I know you feel like you want to sit down already, even though you have to stand up, because you'll die if you don't stand up. Okay. So number one, some rules. Number one, consent. Ask permission first. You say like, hey, can I give you a hug? And be honest with that. If somebody says yes, then yes. If no, just simply put your arms crossed and say, no, I don't need a hug. I don't want a hug right now. And it's okay. And don't shame the person for wanting to get a hug. Okay? So as simple as that. Number two, there's certain rules when you give a hug. First, three things not to do. 3 things not to do. One, that's what you call the A-frame. So when you get a hug, just go with me. So when you have, don't stick your butt out and hug. Don't do that. Okay. 1. Number 2, don't do the tap. The tap, which is, because what happens at the top, you lose the connection. So then why are you hugging in the first place? It's fake. And number 3, don't do the Joey. Everyone watch Friends? No. Friends at Joey, there's a guy named Joey, and Joey, he would always come and be like, how we doing? All right. So don't come up and be like, you say, hey, can I give you a hug? And you're like, yes, how we doing? Don't do that. Okay. So first, what you want to do is ask permission. Can I give you a hug? Thank you. You need to do verbal yes. Okay. Number two, bring your arms out like sideways and big like this, and then put your heart to connect to the other person's heart. You get it? Oh, yun pala yun. All right, heart to heart. Okay. And then second, when you come in. Okay, she gave permission. I come in. You come heart to heart like this, and then you take a nice deep breath in, breathe in, exhale out, and just hold for a second. Science says 20, but I know this is Philippines and everyone's weird about this. So just squeeze this for a second, and then when you release, don't tap. When you release, come out, look, and say thank you. Okay? So once again, first, ask permission. Two, open your arms so that the heart connects to the other heart. And three, when you hug, hold for a breath. And then when you release, look into the person's eyes and say thank you. Are we good? All right, cool. I just want you to do it to two people, please, and we can get on with the talk. Cool? All right, can we get some music? A little bit of music just to play. Okay, everyone, ask permission first. Okay, here we go. I'm giving you guys 1 minute. 1 minute. All right, 30 seconds. If you haven't hugged somebody else, one person, hug the other person already. Switch up. Remember, ask for permission. If you don't want, you can just put your hands across. It's okay. Whatever you want to allow is okay. Okay, finish up. Really enjoy that moment when you're hugging. And the one thing you want to do too is really smell the person. You're gonna find out, naligo ba to? Nag-perfume ba to? Or amoy sibuyas? And so really gonna make sure that you really smell the person, feel the essence. Thank you very much for joining in that little icebreaker. It allows everyone to once again, hopefully, come together. And as a startup founder, an investor, an angel investor, or an advisor, it's important to make sure that you get this connection. So I want to share with you just a little bit of the journey and give you this big statement. If you see it up here, dreams do come true. Repeat that. Dreams do come true. In 2014, this photo was taken by one of my high school best friends, who as he was finishing his MBA at Fordham, and he was from. I went to Zubel. Any people from LaSalle? Any LaSallites here? Any? Yeah, my archers pa dyan. Pero high school. UP ako eh. So, but anyways, he took a photo of me at this moment, and I actually asked him for my camera. And instead of giving me my camera, since it was a first ever open practice at Madison Square Garden in 2014, he took a picture of me putting my hand out. Kala mo nangilimos. And I was like, am I begging? No, it was just for me. And ironically, this was the photo as I posted it on Facebook and Instagram and everything. This is the photo that the Inquirer actually took out, scrapped on data, and actually posted it on the first article that was written about me after I got the job with the Knicks. And so it's really ironic that it's also me, in a sense, at that time, inviting everybody to make sure that to let you guys know the dreams do come true. So that said, fast forward to 2022. If you think that was the biggest dream I had, which it was, and I'll tell you all about a little bit later of what that means and why that was part of my journey. But I just want to show you a frame of this. And I can get the volume up too of this one. I can go back and go back to the beginning and put the volume up. Can you go back to the start? So, no, okay. Pause it first. There you go. Oh, no, there you go. No, you just have to click on the thing. Here, hold on. Oh, wait. From the New York Knicks, just listen to us. Valencia. It is season with the Knicks. Irwin is the team physical therapist and assistant athletic trainer. Irwin is the first Filipino raised and educated in the Philippines to be on the medical staff of an NBA team. Fans, please join us in celebrating all of our Filipino heritage fans here with us tonight.
Thank you. I didn't post that. That's a humble brag. I didn't post that to brag. I posted that video because that was the biggest career moment for me. I knew I made it. It wasn't enough for me to make it at the Garden and work for the Knicks and be one of the first ever Filipinos to work in an NBA team. But for me to be recognized on Filipino Heritage Night with about 3,000 Filipinos and Filipino Americans at Madison Square Garden, and to be recognized at the center, to be one of the people, not only in the Jumbotron, because they did a little Jumbotron thing with me, Coach Eric Spoelstra, Jalen Green, and Jordan Clarkson, but I was there representing as well as not an actual player or a coach, but somebody who was helping and serving these athletes. And the reason why that's also important is because if you listen to the music, that was the Eraserheads. If you remember that. And Eraserheads, ironically, 6 months after that moment, they played at the theater at Madison Square Garden. And it would be a great story to say that they said the same thing too, to say, hey guys, it was the greatest career moment of our life to play at Madison Square Garden, the world's most famous arena. But as it turns out, and I asked my brother last night, Earl Valencia, I go, hey, you were at that concert, right? He was like, yeah, I was. I was like, so did they say this was one of the most exciting events they've ever played? And he says, no, they actually just played for 1.5 hours straight and left. I go, wow. Okay, this is the end of their Hulinga Bumbo tour. It was at New York City. And for them, they didn't even really enjoy the moment of being at the Garden because they were so tired already, and they didn't enjoy that moment, when in fact, this is one of the greatest stages to ever say that you ever played in your life. If you're anybody, and absolutely anybody, and you played at the Garden, you've definitely made it. So I'm going to run through just the 3 steps to my success. And I say this because it's really important. Because when I first got the job, I got asked by a number of news reporters that came and wanted to interview me and wanted to ask about like what the journey was. But then there's one reporter, Don Tagala, who was the correspondent for ABS-CBN. And as he asked me this question, if you have any advice for young kids back in the Philippines to maybe follow in your footsteps, what would it be? And ironically, there was a microphone down here, and I don't know what came out of me. And I said 3 things: visualize it, prepare for the path, and manifest it. And I don't know what overcame me at the moment in time, but that was what the words that came out of my mouth. And so let me dive in now to what this all means. First, visualize it. There you go. First, visualize it. When I was about 18 years old, I woke up one morning in a cold sweat because I had the most fantastic dream, the most fantastic vision in my head. I dreamed I was in the middle of a basketball court with the lights shining bright just like this, with the sounds of the music pumping hard through the speakers, with the feeling of the floor, with the dribbling of the basketball, and with the crowd running around. I also, going back, the mixture of cologne from the coaches next to me mixed entire basketball court. And I was saying, happen. That was so what I wanted, because I was so clear of the direction I was going to go. I knew one day, the universe, God, whoever was going to step in. So clear. So as a startup founder, it's important for everybody to have that vision, to kind of know why you're doing it, not just for the money. If you do it for the money, you'll never be successful. You got to do it for a bigger reason, a bigger purpose. For me, my purpose is this: to simply inspire the next generation of thought leaders and change makers in the health, wellness, and performance space globally. Obviously, it started here in the Philippines for me, and I continue to help kids in the Philippines to be inspired to maybe one day follow in those footsteps. But also, there's other kids who are immigrants from different parts of the planet that saw me sitting down on the bench every day and said, how can I be that guy? And so for me, it's been always a blessing for me to give back. With my community, Grasshopper Project, which is a mentorship nonprofit based in the US, it's 501c3. That now we have people in different parts of the world. This was just taken in London with Watford Football Club, one of the English Premier League teams, and the community members from the Atlanta Braves and John Davies, who's a very well-known, James Davies, who's one of the well-known osteopaths in London that works with celebrities, and David Beckham and all of them. And then, but what really it boils down to is the picture below. This is Rihanna. She is the daughter of the people that take care of one of my family's kind of properties up in the Sierra Madre Mountains. This past weekend, we had a Christmas party for the indigenous kids that we serve up in the Sierra Madre Mountains. And Rihanna, who since she was little, she had a mission and a vision to maybe one day be a physician, to be a doctor. And so my mother and I made it our commitment to make sure that she fulfills that dream, no matter what, and make sure her journey is smooth along the way. Because this girl is going to be a superstar. So watch out for her, because not only is she going to be successful and actually finish school and hopefully one day be that person, but also she got good people around her. And this was a picture of her with her certificate of first aid. Remember, she's 8th grade. And then we really inspired her to like take, be. Second, prepare for the path. You got to do the work. You got to do 10,000 hours. I'm sorry to say this, but so many in today's generation, sorry, the Gen Zs in the house, any Gen Zs? Gen Zs? They're not working. Yeah, exactly. That's why. So they're all hanging out somewhere with the vibes, taking videos and photos, 0.5. So the current generation, I'm sorry to say this, is so adapt to being privileged enough that things will just happen to them. You got to put in the work. No, I'm sorry, excuse my French, but you got to eat shit first. Because it's through this discomfort that you become a champion. It's through the hardships that make you realize what's really important. If you take everything for granted just because it's just there, you're never going to be successful. If you look at everyone that's ever been successful, there's always this weird path of weird things that happen to them. Look at the guy that's now almost worth $1 trillion. You think he had an easy life. You think his mom and dad just gave him a silver spoon and made him like do things. No, he actually like worked. He dropped out. He came from South Africa. And now he's worth almost $1 trillion. I mean, anyone know Elon Musk here? Anyone know Elon Musk? Whether you agree with his politics or not, he's a visionary. He knew what he wanted and he knew how to fulfill it. Another visionary is this guy right here. Anybody know who this guy is? That guy? Manny Pacquiao, who's from Mindanao. Any people from Mindanao here? Yes. Representing Davao, I got my Tivoli outfit right here. Manny Pacquiao had a great story, and the challenges that he faced selling cigarettes on the street to becoming one of the most successful boxers in history. You think Manny Pacquiao would have been the champion he is now if he just sat down in the boxing rink and just waited till he got a chance to fight somebody? No, he worked his ass off. So a lesson for everybody is that hard work actually pays off. And if you don't do the work, especially as a startup founder or even as an investor, there's work to be done if you want success to happen. So don't shy away from work. Whether you're getting that 10,000 hours or not, you need to do the work. And not just the work in general for what you want for success, but the work for yourself. Do the inner work. If you don't know who you are, people who want to invest in you will have no idea why they're investing in you. Give them a reason to. Lastly, manifest it. After my 8 years working in Major League Baseball, I thought I got it made. I had 8 years of Major League Baseball experience. I've been a clinician for probably over 10 years. And I got 2 interviews with 2 basketball teams at that time. This is 2012. And I said, I got this. What else? I pushed hard. I said, okay, I got this interview. Let's continue the interview. I was pushing. I kept on asking, hey, any updates on the interview? Anything? What's the update on the position? Did I get it? Did I not? I pushed so hard that the universe said, no, you're not going to get it. I placed second in both interviews of 2 NBA teams that I thought I was already ready for. Why? Is because his ego started creeping up and saying, like, I got this. I don't need to prove anything else. The universe said, no. Do more work. So it's important to make sure that you know that you allow for space and time to make things happen. A perfect example of that is that really what does manifest? Anyone know what the word manifest is? Speaking of Gen Z's love the word manifest. It's a perfect excuse for them to just sit down on the couch. I'm just saying. Like, oh yeah, I'm going to manifest a car. So I'm going to sit down and the car is just going to appear. Oh, yeah, the car's coming na. Ay, wala pa ba? Oh man, I have to work. I know, I'm hitting on the Gen Zs. Love you guys. I'm a Gen Xer myself. Zillennial Xer guys. But to manifest is to make evident. And it's a Merriam-Webster definition. And here's a little bit of an example of what it made happen for me. One, before I got to the NBA, there was 0 Filipinos or 0 Filipino Americans in the NBA. Whether they're as an athletic trainer, physical therapist, a medical person, there was 0. When I came in, there was 1. You know who that 1 was? Me. After that, when I left, now we have 3 Filipino Americans. 3 of them actually have never been back to the Philippines, which is a little sad. It's something I'm trying to push them to do. But now there's 3 to be able to manifest that because I started the process. And when the process begins, people will follow. So we're back to the 3 things. Visualize it, prepare for the path, and manifest it. So if you listen to this, let me leave you with a challenge. What dream do you want to come true? Anyone know what their dream is? Anyone know what their dream is? Damn. Nobody knows what their dream is? Getting a show of hands? Like, give me 5. My question again, does anyone here know what their dream is? The big dream. Okay, now we got 20. Guys, it's important for you to know what your dream is. Visualize it. Have absolute clarity of what it is that you want to dream and what it is that you want to fulfill and succeed to. 2, prepare for the path. Do the work. Make sure you put your 10,000 hours in and make sure you find success because you learn from the hardships and the discomfort. And 3, manifest it. Allow the universe or God to be able to help you make those dreams come true. So let me remind you once again, dreams do come true. All you got to do is visualize it, prepare for the path, and manifest it. Thank you very much. You missed my code. If you have any questions, just put them in the link tree right here. Any question, please DM me. My DMs are open. I want to make sure if anyone has any questions, particularly whether it has to do with the AI startup space. I'm big on AI and wellness. That's the world I live in. And so if anyone particularly is interested in creating any startups that have to do with wellness and artificial intelligence, please let me know. So this is the world I live in. That's here. Otherwise, hit me up, DM me on the gram, and I'll be able to answer your questions accordingly. Thank you again.
Once again, that's Dr. Erwin Benedict Valencia. Let's give him a big round of applause. May I please ask you to just stay on stage? Sorry, Dr. Erwin, please stay on stage. We'll just give you something. And for that, we would like to call on USEC Dr. Lea Bautista from DOST, Ms. Imbo Ibanez of Scale NCR. Please Yeah, here in the middle. Join us. The Scale NCR President, Dave Del Rosario, Operations Head of Kubo, and the lead organizer for Philippine Startup Week 2024. They are here to present a certificate of appreciation for our speaker. We'd also like to invite everybody who wants to post about this event. You can actually use the hashtag PHSW2024. Again, thank you very much for that wonderful, wonderful message. Yes, so the story of Erwin is truly inspiring. Right? Filipino who studied here in the Philippines and flourished abroad. The very first Filipino working for the NBA. Amazing. All right, so at this point, so after hearing Erwin's story, I really can't wait to hear other stories of other Filipino startup founders. Now, Mirma, while we were preparing for this event, when we were being briefed, we found out how much the Philippine startup ecosystem has grown, right? So why is that? And, what else is in store for Filipino startups? So here to give us an in-depth presentation of the Southeast Asian startup ecosystem report. Let us give a big warm round of applause to Mr. Carlo Chen Delentar, co-founder of the Gobi Core Philippine Fund. Yes, and allow us to give a short introduction of Carlo. See, he is a partner and head of ESG and circular economy at Gobi Partners, a leading Asia-focused venture capital firm with a $1.6 billion AUM. He champions responsible investments and tech ecosystem development through the Gobi Core Philippine Fund, backing startups like Hulu, Cloud Eats, and Tier 1. Carlo is recognized in social entrepreneurship, climate action, and circular economy. He collaborates with organizations like the World Economic Forum, Asian Development Bank, and the United Nations, serving on startup, nonprofit, and government boards. He is a Forbes 30 Under 30 honoree and circular economy pioneer at the Ellen MacArthur Foundation. Wow, okay. So I think everyone's excited for Carlo. Let's give him a big round of applause.
Can everyone hear me? I know it's 12, so I'll make sure this is worth your meal. And I'll keep it as brief as possible because the report's very in-depth. I'll just go through it. But before that, acknowledging the presence of course, our undersecretaries from DOST, Dr. Lea Bundia, PTI USEC, Dr. Fita Aldaba, DICT USEC Attorney Giselle Batapasige, DOST Fisher Director Dr. Enrico Maringit, respective directors of ISA or ISA, private sector representatives, Diane, Jojo, good to see you. Startups, investors, and most importantly, founders. Mayong buntag. Mayod to. Good morning. How are you guys doing today? Good. All right, let's do this. So it's an honor to be here as we delve into the future of Philippine innovation within the ASEAN region. Today, we're facing a crucial inflection point, a now or never opportunity to elevate the Philippines as a tech and innovation hub. We have the talent, the drive, and the fundamentals. This is a rare opportunity for every Filipino to become successful entrepreneurs through technology, a powerful tool for nation building that benefits everyone. This is not it, the deck that I have, but I can make it work. This is about 70 pages, but I'm not going to go through that. But at Gobi Core, we bridge the Philippines to the world, connecting our startups with regional and global market. Whether it's a Philippine startup or a regional one, Gobi provides this unique bridge by acting as a stakeholder deeply invested in Filipino potential. We offer insights and resources to drive inclusive growth and sustainable development across Asia. As you can see here, we have some startups from the Philippines and regional startups that are already here. One of them just went public in Hong Kong called Synergy, and majority of their market is actually in the Philippines. Okay, I guess that's my QR code again. Technical glitch. No worries. Joke muna. Okay, I can start. Wow, startup comedian pala ako. Okay. What do you need to start funds? You need to start with fun. See, kita mo? I'm not fit for this. So anyway, while waiting for the slides, the right slides on the keynote, I guess just the background, I think when we've been doing reports the past few years, we realize it's a good way to collaborate with government, but also give a direction to the ecosystem since we've been doing this all around Southeast Asia. 2023, I spent about 8 months around Southeast Asia, a month each in each Southeast Asian country, to really understand which are the best practices we can actually learn and apply it to the Philippines. So this has changed dramatically. AI changed everything. Before, it would be easily calculated that Vietnam is about 3 years ahead, Thailand at 4, Indonesia, Malaysia at 5, and so forth. Now it's changing. AI is currently the dark horse. And I think it's very, very important because AI what it's been doing to this space is there's a lot of regulation coming in, and all these regions, especially Southeast Asia, is becoming a battleground on optimizing new business models and creating new startups and investments. So to give you an idea, Singapore is now focusing on deep tech. Thailand, being central in Indochina, they're already in the space where they're mandating data centers as an investment scheme to actually increase more startups investments in this space. Indonesia, as you know, ByteDance had to have a stake in Goto. And this really shows that innovation isn't just digital innovation anymore, but actually the next part of it. So where are we right now with the slides? Everyone's waiting for lunch. My bad. Play the background music first. Yeah.
So there you go. Carlo, I think you're everybody's favorite because this is the right one.
This is the right one. Okay.
You were right.
This one.
All right.
Let's do this. Okay, now I have your attention. What a hype this is. So going back, I think here, going to the third slide, we look at ourselves as we build ecosystems across Asia. And we've been actively and been early contributors in Malaysia, Hong Kong, Pakistan, and growing into over 10 countries. Along the way, we've helped make unicorns and bolstered ecosystems. Since 2018, we've distilled into reports working closely with governments, startups, investors, and founders, both regionally and locally. This collaborative effort aligns with the Innovative Startup Act, which I'm a big fan of, especially the acronym ISA. SIFI is one together. So we have to do this together. This act is driving meaningful progress to bring the ecosystem together under a shared vision. So let's give it a hand. Let's give a hand to DOST, DICT, DTI, making this happen and with actionable roadmap steps. Na. Okay, this is why you guys are here. Philippines continues to be well positioned for growth, driven by demographic and behavioral advantages. With a young median age and a fast-growing population, we have a unique opportunity to mobilize talent for economic transformation through tech. Okay, this is like the best-selling one the past 2 years. Our fundraising landscape shows that regional investors far outweigh local investors. While this support is critical, we could benefit significantly in more local investors-backed startups, driving economic growth through employment, impact, and opportunity. This practices we can actually tap for the Philippines, and this is based on considerations for the Philippines. In Singapore, various practices foster innovation and attract startups, and we've developed a white paper. Yusek Josel actually requested this from me. We have created a white paper already for both startup visas and taxes that we can immediately, hopefully, implement as soon as possible. So that's Singapore, and of course, there. Thailand's focus on talent has been a core driver of its innovation. Talent is the lifeblood of any thriving ecosystem, and we would love to work with the ecosystem to develop laws and policies that prioritize and nurture Filipino talent. Okay, so this is our love letter this year. To strengthen our ecosystem, we've initiated a community-driven Philippine startup database. We invite everyone here to join us in building this platform, which can serve as a valuable resource for decision makers, aspiring founders, curious investors regionally, and policy champions. Together, we can create a thriving tech community. So if you're interested, we started the framework. If anyone wants to join, let's build it. We'll love to moderate it, but this is really for us to build together. So to make this leap, we need to prioritize policy reforms, investment in talent and education, infrastructural support. On the horizon lies an immense opportunity. We have the demographics, the creativity, and the entrepreneurial spirit. The time to invest, build, and act is now. With commitment and collaboration, the Philippines can emerge as a powerful player in the ASEAN tech landscape. The demographics and market is there. Together, let's unlock this. And as we conclude, I invite you all to read the Philippine Horizons report. We stand by a philosophy of innovation without boundaries, supporting founders, investors, and champions of innovation in moving the Philippine forward. The Innovative Startup Act, or ISA, I love ISA, it embodies a powerful message. One, or together in Filipino. In this spirit, let us come together to build an ecosystem that is resilient, inclusive, and forward-looking. Ego, pride needs to take a backseat. We need to work together. This is our now or never moment to create a future where innovation is not just a goal, but a means of bringing together the diverse talents, dreams, and ambitions of our nation. Together, let's drive the Philippines to new heights with a vision to not only compete, but lead in the global stage. Mabuhay ang Pilipinas, Philippines to the world, and good morning. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Carlo. Please stay in front. Carlo, may we invite you once again to join us here in front for the photo taking. And again, we would like to call on stage USEC Dr. Lea Bondia from DOST, Indoy Banyes, Scale NCR President, Dave Del Rosario of Kubo, and lead of the Philippine Startup Week 2024 to give our token and certificate to Carlo. All right, we just heard a great story, a great challenge, and inspiration for Carl. Let's give him another round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. This morning, wow. The fuel again, because so many things will still happen this afternoon. We have a press conference, we have panel discussion, so we invite everyone to please stay on even after lunch, right? So again, if you are to our VIP friends, if you are here with us and you don't have your IDs yet, please make sure that you get that at the registration table. That will help you as we proceed to lunch. Yeah, so just some reminders as we go for our lunch. So the buffet tables are at the back. And the exit to the buffet tables are over there. So just to remind everybody, ushers will be there to inform you if it's your table's turn to go to the buffet area. Right, so we'll have silent queuing. So we have our ushers to approach your table. Once your table is approached, you may then proceed to our buffet table. I know this is such a jam-packed room. The silent queuing will help us keep organized as we go through lunch. So just some reminders, this is a 3-day summit. We're going to have over 36 events that's happening for the remaining days. So please go to phstartupweek.com for the schedule of all the events happening.
That's right. And for this afternoon, there will be the part 2 of our opening ceremony. Not here, it's at the Jade Hall. All right, that's the pavilion right outside of this area. But here at the Silk Hall, Plug and Play will have their startup showcase featuring startups in the IT BPO sector. I think we have our friends from Plug and Play over there, so we're so excited for that.
So yes, I heard them clap, and it really gets you excited as well. So all of the events in the afternoon are open to the public. So if you have friends within the area wanting to join, walang pasok ngayon ang mga eskwelahan, so walang traffic. So check out the booths at the Bayan Hall. We have over 120 startups that will be showcased during today until Wednesday. Share your photos. We have an official hashtag.
All right, so our official hashtag is hashtag PHSW2024. Again, for all your social media posts, please do not forget to use the hashtag PHSW2024.
All right, so once again, enjoy your lunch, everyone. We've just hosted the first part. My name is Mirma.
And my name is Mian.
We'll see you all in the afternoon sessions. Enjoy your lunch.